Hey Polish fans, it's Caroline again, and welcome to another video here at Wild Moon Lacquer. If you're new, welcome to my channel. I like to talk about nail polish, and right now I am in the midst of a destash. This is actually part 2 of my destashing process, and if you are new to this, I'll post part 1 up there, but essentially I have collected way more nail polish than I need. And of course, since I'm trying to organize my nail polish and have been for well over a year, hemming and hawing about different ideas, trying them, it hasn't worked out. In fact, right now, the progress that I have made, I did get a setup that I was hoping to work out with organizing my nail polish, and the drawers are not strong enough. So I'm stuck again, but I wanted to at least start sorting out what I have. Now, this is a couple of these small trays of nail polish that I had set aside and brought out from my craft room. I was initially storing them there based on color in boxes. I did have initially one big sort of bookshelf that had these little acrylic tiered shelves on it that I was storing the nail polish sorted by color, and then that quickly got outgrown and then transferred into the boxes. So what I've decided to do is go ahead and just start doing the destash. So this is a couple of trays of boxes with those nail polishes on it. This is going to be an assortment of polishes that you may have seen in previous Goodwill hauls, as well as some of the polishes that I've purchased directly from the makers that just never got organized or sorted out into their respective homes, since there aren't right now permanent homes for anything at the given moment. So I have my little keepsies tray back here in the backdrop. I also have my destash tray over there, and spoiler, it's not going well so far. I have very few polishes in that tray right now, so I'm hoping to find some more in here. So let's go ahead and just start here at the top. We'll just pick up a few and go from there. This first one is the Pink Armor Nail Gel. This one came in a Goodwill bag, if I'm remembering correctly, and this is a nail strengthen, brighten, and nourish. I'm definitely keeping this. I am almost always in need of nail strengtheners, base coats, you name it. These sort of things are really helpful, and from what I've seen, this is a really good brand. I think these retail for about $10. Seems like something worth trying, so we'll be keeping that. The other two that I picked up, this one is from Rimmel London, and it is called Camouflage number 830. This is a pretty interesting color, sort of a mix between grass, emerald, and I want to say like a mossy color, but it's not exactly mossy. I'm not so sure about this color, to be perfectly honest. It's pretty. I think you can see some of the shimmer there in the polish. You can definitely see it in the bottle. It's got sort of a golden glimmer in it, slightly larger than just a shimmer. I think it's more along the lines of like a glass fleck, but I don't know. I'm just not completely sold on it. If I'm not excited about it, we're getting rid of it. It's going in the destash. All right, and then the last one is a keeper. This one came from Necessary Evil, and this is called Lorelei, and this was part of one of the destashes that I bought. I think it was one of the large mystery destashes. If you didn't get a chance to watch that, I'll try to post a link up there as well. That was really fun to unbox. I'm not sure if this one will be one of the bottles that came out of that exact one, but that is one of the handful of large mystery boxes that I got. I did one from Instagram, and then I did a couple from Facebook groups, and this one definitely came from one of those. I just don't remember which one offhand. But this is a really beautiful topper. It's a mix of black, white, and iridescent, and I love that combination, so I will be keeping that. We've got some more keepers over here. These two over here are from Moonshine Manny, keeping both. This one is called Thank You Mood. This is a beautiful blue. Lots of shimmer, a little bit of iridescent glitter if I'm remembering correctly. And then this one is All Stars from the same collection. And this one is another beautiful color. I think this was a topper. This is loaded with shimmer and glitter. Really, really beautiful. So those two I'm for sure keeping. Then this one is from LA Colors, and this one is called Skinny Dip. This one is a newer polish that I got, I think, last fall, and I'm really excited to try it. I was very happy with this beautiful sort of muted taupe color, so I will be keeping that. Let's see, it looks like we've got some Essie and one from Nail Hoot. So this one is called It's a Piece of Cake. This one came from HHC. I don't think I got this from HHC though. I think this one came in a Destash, and it is a beautiful color, but it's kind of hard to see. Let's see. It's sort of like a very light cinnamon color with some shimmer and some glitter, maybe some hollow. I'm not too sure about this one on me. So we'll put this into the swatch pile and test that one out. Hopefully I won't get my piles over there confused. Back to the Essees that I had in my hand. We've got 3 of them. This one I know came in a Goodwill bag. This one was called You're So Cupid. This one came out in a limited edition, I'm guessing Valentine's Day collection, but this is a really cute glitter mix. It is pink, red, and white. I don't have anything else like it, so if I am looking for something that has red glitters in it, and I don't mind a touch of the pink or the white, I think this would be a really cute option to reach for, so I'm keeping that. These 2, we've got a couple of pinks. This one is more on the coral side of things. This one is called Cute as a Button. This one is a pretty cute color, as the name would suggest, sort of like a watermelon in the bottle. I do like it, so I think for the time being we will keep it, although once I get my polish organized by color, I will probably be coming back and swatching this with other colors like it, just to make sure that I haven't duped myself in my collection, but so far that'll stay. Then we've got a deeper sort of magenta toned pink. This one is called Bachelorette Bash, and this is one that I'm definitely keeping. If you've been keeping up with my favorite colors, pink did not used to be one of them, but I have recently discovered that I actually like this tone of pink. So the ones that fall into magenta or fuchsia, I really have been enjoying those, especially for summer. So I will be holding on to this one and hopefully enjoying it maybe next summer. Then we've got some reds. We're just going to collect a few of these reds. You might know reds also are not one of my favorites. All right, we've got a handful of reds here. I think there's a couple more, but my hand is full. So this first one is this little tiny one from PA. I think this one came in a Goodwill bag, and I'm just not sure if the PA is the brand or what the case is, but I think this one might be a little dried out. I see a little bit of a band there and I can't tell what's going on, but it's not my favorite color. This is a little bit more on like the hot pepper side of red, a little orange leaning when you compare it to like a pinker red like this Sally Hansen. I think you can sort of see the difference there. This Sally Hansen is much pinker by comparison. This is much more orange. I'm gonna put down the handful here and we'll see if it is dried out like it looks. Because if that's the case, yeah, it's dried out. We'll just put that right in the garbage. I don't think there's any bringing that back to life. It's, again, that's one of the reasons why I don't like mini bottles. They dry out so fast. Okay, we've got one in the garbage and one in the Destash. I mean, we're already off to a better start than video 1. All right, now we've got this Sally Hansen. This is in the Make Strength line. This is called Class Act. I actually like this tone of red. Like I was saying, when we were comparing it to that other one, it leans a little bit, to me anyways, on the pink side, so a little bit more like a red watermelon, whereas when you compare it to some of these that are a little bit deeper in tone, a little bit more saturated, I am leaning towards liking this one. But again, reds aren't necessarily my thing, and I cannot even tell you the last time I wore a red nail polish. When I've worn red, it has been burgundy or oxblood. That's one that I really enjoy, especially in fall. So this is definitely outside my wheelhouse still, but I like this enough to give it a shot. So I think I'm going to set this aside in my swatching pile, and we'll swatch that later on. The next one is this OPI, and I think this is one that I couldn't get open. Oh, okay. I finally got it open. When I bought it and was unboxing my Goodwill bag, I couldn't get this thing open. But this one actually seems like it's in fairly good shape. This one is called Relentless Ruby, and it's a red. It's with red, sometimes I just don't know what else to say. It is different than the others that we've looked at. Again, the Sally Hansen is a little bit more pinky watermelon shade. This one from OPI is I guess, more ruby colored. It is more intensely red. Even this other Sally Hansen that's there is a different tone than this OPI. So this one is another one that I just don't know. Maybe it's got brown in it, I'm not sure. But I mean, OPI is a great polish. Everyone that likes reds always raves about how well OPI does their red formulas. So why don't we swatch this one as well? On to our other two reds. This one from Essie is called Forever Yummy, and this one I actually like. This leans a little bit oxbloody. Obviously it's not as dark as this one here, so it's not a true oxblood, but when you compare it to a brighter one like the Sally Hansen, it is a deeper tone of red, and I like that. So let's just make sure that it isn't dried out or anything. Yeah, no, that looks like a bottle that's in really good shape, so I think I'm going to keep this one. As you'll notice, even my color likes and dislikes, I don't have hard and fast rules for most color families. There's almost always like a little corner of a color family that I like, and even reds have a place in that color family. And while, like I said, most of them are going to be in the burgundies and oxbloods, I do like this shade, and it will be fairly unique in my collection because I don't have many reds. So we'll keep this and we'll revisit it later, but so far we'll put it in the keeps. Let's see, we'll do some more indies that we've got in here, as most of those will be keepers. Oh yeah, especially this one. This one is a tonic. This one is Juicy Lucy. This is a thermal. This is a beautiful polish. It wasn't my favorite when I wore it. I think it was because I didn't exactly love the cold color that it is, which is sort of on the brown side of things. At least according to my swatch stick there. But it is a gorgeous color, and it's tonic, and it's got UP in it, I'm pretty sure. So we'll be keeping that. It's tonic, I like it. I just realized that I forgot to sort one of the reds down there. It snuck away from me. We'll come back to that. The next one is Black Dahlia Lacquer. This one is Fusion. I think this one came in one of my polish pickup orders, so obviously I picked it out, and since it's new to my collection and I haven't got a chance to wear it, I'm keeping this. It's beautiful. It is shimmer and flakies. The flakies are in a beautiful multi-chrome finish, so we'll be keeping that gorgeous polish. Next is one from Linby Designs. This one is called Here on Earth. This one is actually coming back from my initial Destash that I did about 2 years ago. Before I started filming on YouTube, I had sort of started to do Destashes, post my stuff on Store Envy, and this one I just didn't like all that much. There's nothing wrong with it. It is a beautiful flaky polish, but I just had polishes that I liked better, and then at one point this made it back into my piles of polish. I do think, however, that I will be getting rid of it. I have a lot of these multi-chrome flaky polishes, plenty of them from I Love Nail Polish, or ILNP, and I don't know how they compare to each other necessarily, except that this color is a little bit on the murky green side of things with just a pop of like blue, some fuchsia, and gold coming through. So I think I like the other combinations of flakies that I have a little bit better. So for that reason, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to this one. Next up in that little pile of indies that I picked up is this one from Necessary Evil. This is Macaw, and this is another one that came in the same collection, or the same box, well, same box and same collection as this other one here, and I'm keeping this one as well. This is a gorgeous topper, and I love toppers. I find them very fun and entertaining to use, and this is really beautiful in shades of blue and iridescent, so we'll be keeping that one. Okay, so we'll come back to this Sally Hansen that almost slipped through the cracks on my little pile of red polishes. This is called Cardinal, and well, it's a red polish. Well, like I said, I just don't know what to say about red polishes most of the time. They're just not my wheelhouse. Why not? We've got two other reds over here. We'll go ahead and do a side-by-side comparison of all three, get them done at the same time, and just see how they look. All right, we've got some more indies. 3. And I know I'm keeping this one. I do have to see if this one is still good, and oh my goodness, the lid on this, I hate how sticky these get. So the lid needs a really good cleaning. It's pretty sticky. I don't know what happens to pods like that because I didn't put it near anything sticky. So in any case, this is like probably my one and only bottle of MAC nail polish. This I got probably in a Destash, and it is called, if I can even read the label, Vintage Vamp. Not sure if you can even see that, but it says Vintage Vamp. And this is the color that family of color that I usually lean towards when I wear a red. This is a little bit more brown leaning than some of the burgundies that I have a tendency of wearing. Most of them are a little bit more burgundy than this one is, but I do want to test this one out just to see if the formula is okay on this. It is sort of an older bottle, and I'm not sure how the formula might be on that, so we'll set that into our swatch pile as well. Then on to more of our indies. This one is probably another one that I'm going to get rid of, but I do want to do some swatching of it just to play around with it and see if that is still the case. This is another Lynn B design, and this one is called Follies. And it is a pretty interesting idea. It is these sort of translucent flakies in a very delicate gray jelly base. I just haven't found a reason to wear it, so maybe we will swatch this and try it over a few colors, see if I like it over colors, because on its own, at least on this, I'm not loving it. So we'll swatch that as well. We'll see if we can't find some colors that it goes well with. Then we've got these two more from Necessary Evil. We had a lot of Necessary Evil come up in that haul that the other two came in. These are Kananaka and Atargatis, and these are more from the Sirens 7 Seas Glitter Topper collection. We have a green over here and an orange and black over here. Now again, I love me some toppers, so I think I want to keep at least the orange and black. The green one, I will say I'm not 100% sure on. Green is one of those colors that I usually like as a base, but I could also see this being fairly nice for maybe spring manis or like an Earth Day mani. I'm not sure. It does seem to have some different shades of green with almost like some turquoise, and it has white and gold. I'm just not 100% sold. We'll swatch it. We'll swatch it at the end and come back to it. Let's see, we've got a couple more indies here. That is not an indie. This one is. And this one is. Alright, so this little guy is from AE, which is Alter Ego, and this one is called Swashbuckler. This one was actually a freebie that was sent in one of my orders, and I've never opened it. As you can see, it is sealed. It's a brassy, orangey, bronzy sort of a color. I just never was that interested in it. This is another one that did make it out of my collection about 2 years ago, and then once I started really liking the fall colors, I pulled this one back out and decided to maybe give it a try. I think what we'll do is we'll open this and swatch it and see, because I still don't know what that'll look like exactly. It could be a topper, which could be very nice for fall. This next one is from Elevation Polish, and this is called Avenue of the Baobabs, and it is a gray polish, sort of a taupe-ish leaning, and it has some shimmer in there. Not sure if that shimmer is going to come across. This one, again, is another that made it into the Destash pile and then sort of out again because I wanted to give it a try. I just don't know that the shimmer pops up well enough. And I had the same problem with another Elevation polish that I tried, which I think was called Yeti Hugs Feel So Close. I think that was an Elevation polish. And the shimmer did not show up at all on my nails. And with this tone of color, I feel like I have other polishes that will get me a similar enough shade. So yeah, for this one I think is going to get the axe. I'm not excited enough about this color to try to reach for it. So that will go in the Destash pile. Alright, our next one also was in our Destash pile originally, and I'm contemplating bringing it back out. This is what, like I said, part of this pile was. This was from Emily Damali, and it is called Ground Control. And this is one of those colors I just wasn't sure about. It is sort of this brown shade, and brown polishes, I don't have a lot of brown polishes. I have a lot of polishes, but not a lot of brown. And it's just one of those colors that I don't find exciting on my nails. I really tend to want them to lean a little bit more purple, a little bit more red. So when this one leaned a little bit more towards like a neutrally brown, I wasn't that excited about it. But I think what we'll do is we'll swatch it. It's a little hard to tell on here what it's going to look like because I don't even remember how many coats this was, but it is a beautiful linear holographic, so it has potential. And I mean, fall is coming up here. Maybe this will be a beautiful fall polish. So we'll swatch that. And then the last one is this Femme Fatale called Pillars of the Portal. This is another one that I had in the outsy pile in my Destash pile from 2 years ago, and then sort of brought back because again, I was sort of feeling the fall vibe. So this one is again more on the brown side of things, full of gold and some shimmer, some iridescent flakies or some iridescent glitter, but I just wasn't sure about the color initially, and now that I'm looking at it for the third time, I'm still not sold on this color, so I might just go ahead and put this aside. I have other colors that I'm more excited to wear in the fall, so this one I think will stay in its little box, just swatched and put in the Destash. So that was Pillars of the Portal. We are already doing way better, guys. I'm already even with the video number 1 with this batch number 2. So yay, go me. All right, we've got some Revlons. So we've got 3 Revlons, all sort of in this interesting neutral range and all sort of leaning on the brown side of things. This first one is called Stone, and it's a cream polish, so not super exciting. I was thinking that when I initially unboxed this, because I think it was in a Goodwill bag, I was initially thinking that I might try this for like a fall mani, maybe. Okay, so compared to Skinny Dip, which I am keeping, Skinny Dip is, I guess, more cool toned and leaning a little bit more purple because of that. Whereas Stone is a little bit more on the neutral side of things, maybe a touch on the warm side, maybe like a tan, light brown, or a deep camel color. We'll swatch that. We'll swatch it. These next 2, we've got Creme Brulee and Deep Bronze. The Creme Brulee, honestly, I probably want to just get rid of this. I don't know about this color. It's very, very, well, very gloopy as well, but it's also just very neutral and slightly gold leaning. Yeah, meh, not exciting. A little metallic, but very old. In fact, I don't know that this is even worth passing on, to be honest. We'll put it in the Destash pile. That way we get to count it, though. All right, and then this next one is Deep Bronze. This one I do kind of like. This one, again, it sort of shows you what I like in brown. So this has a little bit of red and a little bit of purple in it. And it's shiny. Therefore, I like it. I think we will swatch this one as well. I'd like to see how this looks on the nail, and then we'll make a decision from there. Okay, let's see. We'll just pick a few at random. This one is an Avon bottle, and it is called Teal Wing, I think. There's a lot of words on the back of this bottle, but I think it's Teal Wing. This is a beautiful color. In fact, this one could be one that I swatch and do a swatch compare with one of the other polishes from Maybelline that I set aside from video 1. This is a beautiful sort of teal mermaidy color. So I think what we'll do is we will set this aside and compare it to that Maybelline later. Then we've got a Deborah Lippmann. This one is called Stargasm, and this one I did buy intentionally. I got it in a single box at Goodwill, so it was all by itself for I think 99 cents or $1.99, I don't remember, but it was brand new in box, and I thought it was a really pretty soft sort of a rose gold with a little bit of gold flakies in there. Very pretty color. This is the full-sized bottle. And I do think I like this color. I will have to compare it at some point to some other colors in this color family, but for now, that'll go in the keepsies pile. Then we have this one. This one came in a Goodwill bag as well, and it is unmarked, unlabeled, unnamed. I have no idea who made this, but it's gold and orange glitter. This is one of those polishes that, I mean, I could take it or leave it, I guess. I could definitely find a use for it. It's probably fairly nice over some fall colors, at the same time, am I really, really, really looking for more random polishes to pull into my collection and keep? Not so much. So I think this is getting the X. Let's go ahead and pull out the top coats that are in here. There are a lot of those that I've gotten through these Goodwill bags. And I think this one is brand new and it came in one of those. So let's go ahead and make a little gap here for those. We're gonna just get a line up here so I don't have to hold all of them in my little hands. We've got a lot. We've got a lot, you guys. Look at that. I don't even know if all of them are fitting in screen. That is not one. So there you have it. I've got, look at all these that were sitting in there. Wow. Okay, so we've got a Sally Hansen Big Matte Top Coat. This one I will be keeping. I do want to at some point come back and compare the matte top coats that I have. The one that I'm using right now is from Orly and I like it, but let's see how Sally Hansen does. We'll try that later. This is from Rush. I think Rush might be the brand. I don't know. I've never heard of that. But it is a 60-second high-speed top coat. Seems like it's brand new and worth trying, so we'll try that. Then we've got another base coat. This is a base and top coat, actually, from LA Colors. Just because I'm keeping the top coats doesn't mean I will use them on myself. A lot of times what I'll use them for is for my little swatch sticks. You'd hate to waste perfectly good, really nice top coats on those. So I keep just random top coats to use there. So I mean, I'm most likely going to keep all of these, but I figured I'd show you what they were. This next one is a Sinful Shine top coat. Again, seems to be in good shape. Nothing wrong with that, so we'll keep that. Then we have this Teex Nail Protein Formula 2. This one came in one of the Goodwill bags that I got, and actually people in the comments were saying that this is a fairly sought after brand. I guess there was an accident in the factory, something about a fire. I didn't get the full details, but in any case, this, I guess, is a fairly desirable brand, so seems worth giving a shot since I have a bottle. And let's see, it says that it is for soft peeling, bitten, weak, or thin nails, so that I'll be keeping as well. Then we've got this Nail Aid Instant Steel Hardener. Again, stuff like this is really good for strengthening your nails, so this one seems worth trying. Nail Aid also sounds familiar, so that seems like something I've heard before, so not sure where I might have heard that. This one is a Revlon Salon Professional, and actually this one's going straight in the garbage. Can you see that, guys? It is completely solid on one side of the bottle. Oh wow, that's pretty bad. That's going in the trash. And then there's this LA Girl Treatment Quick Dry Top Coat. Again, keeping it, this seems like it's brand new. It makes me wonder if I bought this, except I don't usually buy drugstore top coats. I buy a lot of indies like Vibrant Vinyls, Cuticula. So I don't think I would have bought this, but in any case, there we have it. Then there's this Julep Be Strong. This is an oxygen nail therapy. And this is another one that when I unboxed it, people were saying was really expensive and really good. So I will be keeping this as well. Then we have a base coat. I know I bought this. I think I did anyways. This is First in Line base coat. And again, base coats are very handy to have. So this is one that I will be holding onto as well. So that was the top coats. Now on to the rest of these random polishes. Let's see, we've got some more Sally Hansen. You may recognize that one. It looks like we only have two. Okay, so this first one is Camel Otts, and this has a beautiful subtle shimmer in it. I do want to swatch this one because I'm not too sure about the color in the bottle, but I do like the brushes on this. Yeah, I like the brushes on these. And I like the idea of a camel color, so I think I want to swatch this and just see how it's going to look against my skin tone. And then we have this, again, you might recognize this. This is Sally Hansen Pacific Blue. And yes, I got this in a Goodwill bundle, so I was thrilled to pieces. I actually found it, 3 times at Goodwill. Yes, I know. I don't know how I got so lucky because each and every time it was the original formula. I was shocked each time I found it. But this one is definitely staying in my collection. It is the OG, it is the one people always talk about, want to find dupes for, so having more than one bottle of this means that I can do comparisons for you guys and not feel like I am going through my own bottle. So I have at least this one, which I think the fill line is about here at about label height, and I've got another one that I know is fuller than that, so possibly unused or at least just swatched. So this one will be my swatching bottle, so I'll definitely be keeping that. Moving on to some other not so exciting polishes. We've got a couple just random ones here. We've got Essie. This one is called Licorice. Presuming that this formula is okay, I will be keeping this. This is a black nail polish cream. And yeah, it looks like it's in decent shape. Again, with black nail polish, especially ones that I've been able to get at Goodwill for a super cheap price. Even if I'm not going to be using them myself for my own manicures, polishes like this are a really good base to keep again for swatching. If you want to darken up half of your nail and do like I did. So you can paint black on half of your swatch nails and then paint your polish over it. So instead of going through your expensive black nail polish like from Stanley or an indie brand, you can just use your extra bottles of black nail polish, which is what I usually do with those. So that'll be staying. Speaking of black nail polish, this one does seem a little special though. And look at the bottle, how cute. This is a teddy bear bottle from Bare Fingers, and it's called Dark Silver. This is a really cute color actually, and it seems to be moving around in the bottle fairly well. I'm not 100% sure on the color on myself, so I guess this will go in the swatching pile and we'll swatch it and see how I like it. Next is this one called Seafoam. This is in LA Colors. This one looked like it was in really bad shape in the bottle. Not dried out or anything, just really separated out. Maybe a little faded, a little ugly bottle syndrome. But it does seem like a pretty nice color. Maybe we'll save this again for the same situation as some of these creams like that Essie. If I'm not too sure about the condition of the bottle, or I'm not too sure about the source, because I did get these at Goodwill. If you're worried about that sort of thing with some of the bottles that you get there, you can save these again for swatching. Use them as your comparisons. Like, hey, what does this topper that I got look like over a green polish? You have something to test it with. So I think I will keep that for that purpose. Next, we've got one from Nicole by OPI. This one is Cocoa A Go-Go, and I'm just not excited about this one. Just not excited. I would swatch it, but I'm just not excited by it. So we'll just put this in the Destash pile. We're making much progress on this video. Next is one from, I think this is Milani, and it is a nail art yellow called Yellow Design. And this one came with a special nail art brush. It is kind of a beautiful bright banana yellow. I don't have many yellows either, so I think I'll be keeping this. Surprisingly. Yellow is another one of those colors that I don't wear all that often, and I don't own many. So with colors like this, I often see nail art pull in bright tones like this, that even if I may not want this all over my entire manicure, having this as an accent color in, say, a sunset or a tie-dye design seems like something worth having around, so I will be keeping that. Then we've got this poor little guy. This is a Color Craze by LA Colors, and this is Candy Sprinkles. I think I may have gotten a replacement bottle for this already. This one just thickened up way quickly. Let's see if this actually shakes out or not. Yeah, this one might actually be my replacement bottle. I think it is in better shape than I initially gave it credit for, so we'll be keeping this one. I think it's really cute. Next up is this one. This one is an Estee Lauder. Really high quality brand, but I think this is completely dried out. When I gave it a shake, it did sort of come back to life, so maybe it is, but I'm not going to keep that. There's no point. I don't even know what it is. It's not named, so yay, another one for the Destash pile. All right. We've got some more glitters. We've got 3 of them. This first one is another unbranded. It has a little sticker of like a hibiscus flower, but no name and no brand. It is made in China. Other than that, I have no idea. Now it is a really cute silver glitter though, and it is nice and sparse in there while adding a beautiful little twinkle of silver. So I think I'll be keeping this. I like the idea of just being able to add that on top of a couple of manicures or as an accent nail. I will of course be doing a side-by-side comparison of any other silver glitters that I have. I know I kept one silver glitter from video number 1, so I know it's different though than this. This is more sparse than that first one, but we'll see how that one compares. Then we've got this one. This one is by Nina, and this is called another no name. No, here we go. This one is called Metal Flake. And I think this one is another that I'm going to get rid of. A, it's not in that fabulous a shape, but B, it reminds me a bit of this color tone that we have going on in this other unnamed bottle. It's got a little bit of, actually it's very similar. Let's give that Nina one a good mix here. It is a gold glitter with a little bit of larger orange glitters in it. And the colors just don't inspire me. I have a lot of fall manicures coming up, but these just don't scream at me to use them. So because they are so similar, and I'm getting rid of this one, I'll get rid of Nina as well. That is 9 bottles gone so far, folks. We are doing so good in this video. Next up is this one by OPI. This one is called Mad as a Hatter. This one I was super excited to find because I'm pretty sure this is one that is fairly desired, but as you might be able to see, it is fairly dried out. And I immediately discovered that when I went to go show you guys this the first time I unboxed it. I still have yet to follow up on watching a video on how to revive glitter nail polishes, but because of that, I will be holding on to this. Besides the fact that it's an Alice in Wonderland themed name, so I'll be keeping it. Kind of a sucker for Alice in Wonderland as well, so I will be holding on to that one. Then we've got a few randoms here. We have an Essie. This one is called Chinchilli, and actually this should be my backup bottle of Chinchilli. I think I accidentally got 2 of those bottles somehow. And it's a beautiful color. I just don't think I need 2 of them, especially considering in this shade family I have a very similar one, I want to say from Revlon. That one actually may have leaned a little bit more brown, but in any case, this is one of those shades of colors that I get a lot because I really like, again, this purple tinge to it. It is sort of a gray, sort of a taupe, sort of a grayish, with just a twinge of purple in it, and I really like those tones. So I do, like I said, I'm pretty sure I have one of these already. I'll just double check. And yes, I already have one, swatched and everything. And in fact, by comparison, this bottle of it looks a little on the faded side, which I'm not sure if it is or not, but I'll be keeping this bottle and getting rid of my backup. Then we've got this one from Jamberry, and this one is called Dusk. And in fact, speaking of a color similar to this Essie, I think it's showing up darker in the bottle, but I think that's because it's got ugly bottle syndrome. It is quite separated. Nope, it is actually fairly darker than Chinchilli. But as you can see, it's in that same family of sort of this dusky purple, if you will. Dusky purplish taupe. This one is another one though that did come in a Destash bag from Goodwill, and while I don't think I want to use it on myself because of the lackluster appearance of the bottle itself, I will be keeping this in my cluster of go-to polishes to use for swatching. That way if I want to swatch some colors over it, I have something to use those for. So we'll put that in that pile there. Then we've got this one, another CoverGirl. This one is a green, and it is called Galactic Green. Rather a bright green here. This is another one though that really not in good shape. I think someone had suggested trying to fix this one, but I can't even get into the bottle. I think I might have been able to open it at one point, but it is pretty much done, folks. It is dunsies. So I think putting this one in the trash. It is a pretty color, and I probably would have kept it if it was in good shape, but it's a very old bottle. It's, as you can see, leaked and gotten all over the place, and it's just, I don't know that it would be worth trying to wrestle the bottle open and trying to repair it. It does seem to be kind of moving around in there. Do I want to try to rescue it? I don't know. It's nail polish. I'm not going to hurt its feelings if I get rid of it. Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna rip up my hands if I try to keep that up. So I think it's gonna go in the Destash pile, although most likely after I count it as a polish that I got rid of, it'll probably go in the trash. I just don't know that someone will be able to rescue that guy. Next up, we've got one from China Glaze. This is one of their magnetics, and this one is called You Move Me. This is another in the sort of shade family that I don't really like for myself. It is a brown, and it is the tone of brown that this one is that I don't love on myself, but it's a magnetic, so let's see what it looks like. Ooh, well that's exciting. We'll swatch that. How about that? We'll swatch that. We'll see how that looks. Next up is this one from Love and Beauty, which is by Forever 21, and this one is called Neon Yellow. Very creative. Ooh! Goodness. That scared me. This is another one that needed a fairly good shake, and apparently their lid is not firmly attached. But this is one of those colors that I have been trying to get. I have been wanting to get neon yellow highlighter sort of yellows, but I do also have this one, which is by Color Club, that is called Yellen Yellow. And while they might be slightly different, I'm just not too sure about this one. Let's just give it a look-sees. Yeah, that's pretty gross. It's a little gloopy. Little gloopy. Let's give it another good shake, this time holding it from the bottle so it doesn't fly out of my hands. Let's try that again. Yeah, that's just very stringy. I don't know. It's possible that this could be revived, but like I said, there are other colors like this out there. I happen to have Yellen Yellow, so for the time being, I'm happy with Yellen Yellow, and I will get rid of the one from Forever 21. Next up, we've got this little tiny mini. This is from Sally Girl. This one is called Spice, and this is an adorable mini. I know you guys, I've said that I hate minis, that I really don't like them, but this is adorable. This reminds me of the little teeny tiny Avon lipsticks that I used to absolutely be fascinated with when I was a kid. Does anyone else remember those? They were like this tall. They were actually probably about the size of this little cap here. I mean, they were adorable, but like I said, minis dry out so quickly. This one actually doesn't seem to be in the worst of shape, all things considered, and it is a beautiful color. I just don't know. Maybe we'll try swatching it. It's so tiny you can hardly shake it. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's got such gorgeous shimmer in it. It is a little bit stringy. Someone probably used it for like a whole mani, or maybe half of a mani. It's almost not the right consistency. Maybe we'll try swatching it, see if it's bad, and I do have some nail polish thinner I can try, but that is a gorgeous color, and I don't think I have anything like that. So we'll try swatching that. Next up, we've got one from L'Oreal. This one is called Speedy Pearl. Is that the color? Speedy Pearl? I mean, I guess so. In any case, it's number 240. This is another one in desperate need of some good shaking. This is probably another one that's an older polish. Not that that's necessarily an instant bad thing, but that just means that it has been around for a while. The consistency could be off, but this one does seem to be moving around quite nicely, which begs the question, is it full of thinner or is it full of polish? I have had some polishes that I got, actually one from a Destash years ago, that I swear someone put thinner in it and it smelled awful. Like it was scented thinner. It was quite gross. I didn't like it. But let's see how this one looks. It is a pearl finish. Oh, and it is faded. It is faded, folks, if that is anything to go by. I don't know if you can see that, but that is a much brighter color there. Much brighter color. This is more of like a champagne pinky purple, but a little nondescript. And I think I've had better polishes that are even close to this color, so I think we'll just get rid of that one. Next up, we've got, ooh, this feels like it's in terrible shape. This is a Maybelline Ultimate Wear called Go Current. It is a really pretty color. Oh, that's gorgeous. Wow. Okay, we'll give this one a try. We will put it over in the swatch pile and just see how it looks, but so far it's pretty gorgeous. Here's one that I got from, I think, Grocery Outlet. I got a couple of them in this hearts and glass bottle. Really cute little heart caps, heart-shaped bottles, kind of like a heart in a purse, I guess. But they don't have names or numbers or anything to distinguish one color from another. So I'm not even sure what color you would call this, but it seems to be sort of like a mulberry. And it is a really gorgeous color for fall, actually. So we're keeping this one. This is beautiful. In fact, I need to put this onto a little nail ring so that I can see the gorgeous color, because this is stunning. We'll swatch that. Why not? That way you can see better. Okay. Ooh, okay. This next one is from Wet n Wild. This one is, I don't know. Another not in great shape. I did get quite a few packages there from Goodwill that I bought the bag specifically for 1 or 2 polishes that had a lot of other really not that great polishes. But I always try to see the best in things, so I try to be positive about what I'm getting. And this one, I honestly have no idea what this one is called, but it's a soft ballet pink. This is not my shade of pink. If you've heard me talk about the pinks and I was saying that this is my shade of pink, this is not my shade of pink. It might be next year, you never know. But so far it's at least in the bottles, never been something that I'm drawn to. If I were to wear it, you never know, I might actually really like it. But for the time being, it's an older bottle, I don't know a name, and that sort of drives me up the wall, to be perfectly honest. I like knowing the names of my polishes. So for those 2 reasons, the color and no name, I will be passing this one along. Next up is this one by Sharer. I don't know this brand very well, but I remember this polish. If it wasn't this one, it was another one very close to it, and this is what got me started on this love of this burgundy polish. So I will be keeping this, if for no other reason than nostalgia's sake, because this reminds me of the first time that I ever put this color of a rich burgundy or an oxblood red on my toes, and I fell head over heels in love with it. I was absolutely thrilled to pieces. It made me happy. There's something that I just found so joyful about looking down on my toes and seeing this color. So I will be holding on to that one. Next up, we've got this one from Rimmel London, and this one is called Black Satin. I wonder if that means that it dries in a satin finish. But again, with this one, I'll try it out later on. I already have a lot to swatch for this video. For this one, I will be holding on to it, and same thing that I said for the Essie. If this one turns out to not be in the best of shape, or I don't like how it finishes, I can keep it for swatching purposes. Next up, we're almost done with this one. We've got 2 more. We've got a Sinful Colors. This is called Tahiti Breeze. This is one of those colors that I'm not head over heels for. It is a topper, and it could look really good over some colors, so maybe we'll play around with this one as well. And then lastly, we have this one by Estee Lauder. The sticker was already loose when I got it in the first package, and I've lost it in between then and now, so I have no idea again what color this is. But it's another one that seems to be a little on the thick side, although it does still shake up with this little roller ball in there. It's a white pearly color, but more of an off-white. Not really my color, and even though Estee Lauder is a great brand for cosmetics in general, I mean, as far as like, you know, high end, I'm not inspired. I have other bottles of pearl that are in more of a pure white tone, which is what I was looking for in this type of polish, so I will be getting rid of that. On to the swatching. You guys, I think we're going to start with the topper. We have the Sinful Colors as a topper, the Linby Designs as a topper, Necessary Evil in a green. So we've got 3 toppers. And if you're curious about some of these colors, this section here was all from the Lights Lacquer that I swatched, and starting here with the Rose Gold all the way over to this sort of berry burgundy tone, those were all the Orleys that I swatched from the fall collection. And if you're seeing some that are not cream, I played around with some toppers in video number 1. So if you like what you're seeing and check those out, you can find out what colors those were. But for these colors here, I think for this gold one, this one is Tahiti Breeze by Sinful Colors. We'll try this over the orange here. That one I think was Lion's Ear. So I described it as sort of like a marigold orange. Yeah, this is gold. sort of a golden glow. Like I said, it's not my favoriteest of shimmers. It does look really good over this one though, I will say that. Not totally sold on it thus far though. What else would I play around with that with? Let's try it over this one. This one was from Lacquer. That was Skip It. And over the top I had a holographic bar glitter that I was testing. So let's go ahead and see what this looks like over it. See if I like it over my fuchsia family that I like so much. I mean, it's pretty. I don't know that I love it. Meh. I think that's how I feel about it. I feel meh about this one. So, another one for the Destash. Yay! Alright, the next one. This one's going to be interesting because I could try this over just about every color. This one is Follies. This one is that silver, sort of sheer, translucent, flaky topper in a gray jelly. Let's try this over one of these chromey polishes. This one, oh goodness, one of these was Rage by Orly and the other one was something like Romance that came as a half-size bottle in my Orly Color Pass box. So I'm not sure which one it's going to be swatching over, but we're going to swatch it over one of those and see what it looks like. Okay, sort of dulled it down with that gray base, which I guess is to be expected. I'm not seeing the flakies as prominently as I was thinking I would though. So I'm not in love with it so far. Let's try it over this one here. This one is Booze Cruise by Lacquer, topped by Revlon Matte Pearl, then topped by, ooh, what was our last one that we topped that with? We topped it with something else. Was it a Limby design? It might have been a Limby design. So now we're going to top it with another Limby design and see if the flakies pop more over this color. They do. Oh, okay. Here we go. That's the type of color this needs to be over. Can you guys see that? I like it. Hopefully you guys can see that. It is really neat over this color. Very subtle, but you can definitely tell that there are these little tiny flecks on there. I like that. All right, so over dark colors it is. Limby designs will be staying. All right, last topper is this one. This is Kananaka, and this was their green. What will we try this over? Let's try it over Wild Willow. This one was topped again with that Revlon Matte Pearl finish. Let's see what this one looks like to sort of shine it up, add some green glitter. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my. Wow. Go Wild Willow. That color has been selling me on toppers lately. The Revlon over it was one of my favorite combinations of that video. And this on top of those two. Wow. Wow. I'm pretty speechless about that. That's a very intriguing combination and I love it. Alright then. We've got another keeper. Darn it. But isn't that intriguing? You've got sort of the murky willow color of that Orly. Then you've got the beautiful pinky purpley magenta shift from the Revlon Pearl. And then on top of that, you've got all of these green holographic glitters. That is such an interesting combination. Hopefully that's coming across at least a little bit. That is so neat. All right, so now I know what to wear this over. There you go. Necessary Evils Kananaka. We're keeping that one. All right, now we're moving on to some of our true swatches. We're going to start out with this one from Hearts and Glass, the unnamed sort of mulberry color is what I'm calling it. Oh yeah, this is beautiful. Definitely keeping this one. Like I said, I just want to swatch that so you guys can see it. It is a beautiful shade. Really loving that. That's more true to color. Really lovely shade. Really liking that one. We're going to let them dry in between their coats. So we're just going to move right along. We're going to do this little teddy bear one. This one was, what was it? Dark silver. This one was one of our, maybe, I don't know. Ooh, I do not like their brush. I can tell you that. Long and thin. Makes for messy application. Do not like that. Nope. But how's the color? Meh. So far it's meh. I don't know if you can see that, but that's just sort of like a metallic-y black. Less of what I was seeing in the bottle, which what I was hoping I was seeing was sort of a holographic shimmer, sort of sparkle, something. So far, it's not translating to the nail, but we'll see. Next up, ooh, let's do this one. This one is our China Glaze Magnetic. This one was in that shade that I just wasn't too sure about. So another maybe polish. And again with the fuzzies. Where are these fuzzies coming from? Just kidding, I know. Okay, well that's interesting. That is not the color at all that I would have pictured in one coat. That does make quite an intriguing color actually. And in one coat, I could actually see that quite nicely over other colors for almost like a tortoise shell look. So that intrigues me. So far it can stay. We'll see how it looks in coat 2. Now let's go for our little Sally girl. This is such a cute color again. I do get the feeling that it needs some thinner. Another thing I don't like about these tiny little bottles, it is really hard to polish with them because they're so small. So small. Oh my goodness. This is a beautiful color though. When I was unpacking these from that haul, I was saying I wish I could find these in full size to get a good fresh bottle because the colors are really beautiful. This is gorgeous. It's a very warm rosy orange with that gold shimmer, which in here I actually really like it. That's a nice combination. So it wasn't horrific. We'll come back with a second coat on that as well. Then we have It's a Piece of Cake from Nail Hoot. This was another one in the maybe pile because I'm not sure about the color. A little bit of a thin formula, but kind of a nice color actually. Somewhat actually reminiscent of this one here. This was from video 1. This was a spa ritual. That might actually make the cut. We'll see. Next up is MAC. This is that something Vamp color. Like I said, I'm not sure about how the formula has withheld because it is an older bottle. Ooh, I like it. That's gorgeous. A little bit more berry tone actually than I was expecting, considering in the bottle it looked fairly brown, but we'll see how it looks with a second coat. Might deepen it up. In fact, I'm sure it's got to deepen it up. It's very dark in the bottle, which is what I'm hoping for, but look at that. I mean, that's definitely got to darken up, right? Next up, we'll do the Emily Damali. This was Ground Control. This is another one that I'm just not sure about the tone of color. The shade of brown that it is, I'm just not sure I like it for myself. And where are these fuzzies coming from? I have it up on my little lotion so that it doesn't get fuzzies, and then they come anyways. Cover my nails in fuzz. How rude. I think that might just be one coat because that's not very opaque, but that's not surprising for the first coat, so we'll let that sit there and dry. Next up, we're going to tackle Camel Otts. This was from Sally Hansen. This one does seem like a potentially intriguing color. I'm hoping, I guess, that it's not going to be as skin tone as it seems like it could be in the bottle. So far it's pretty skin tone. I was hoping for more camel, but we'll give it a second coat. You never know. Sometimes polishes surprise you. Next, we're going to do Deep Bronze. This was another Revlon. I gotta say the Revlon brushes, though, are not my favorite. This is a pretty color though. Not as multi-dimensional as I was hoping given how neat it was looking in the bottle. But we'll let that sit and do its thing and we'll come back with a second coat and see how it looks. One more for that we have room for on this nail ring. We're going to do Stone. This one is another Revlon. Oh my. This is creamy. Wow. This color is actually impressing me, except it stinks. Oh my god. Wow. That's horrific. That's a very pretty color, but dear god, that smells horrible. Blech. That's not so good. Which is terrible because I actually like that on me, I think. Yeah, kind of a beautiful sable color, which is very nice. A little bit closer to what I was hoping this would have a little bit of. This one from Sally Hansen, but we'll let those dry. We'll come back with second coats of everybody here in a minute. But I think for our reds, because we still need to swatch those, so for our alter ego, this is our little half-case bottle, which again, their sizes are very generous on their small bottles. Okay, wow, yeah, this is very packed with mini micro glitters. Kind of a beautiful color. I think that could be nice over some fall colors, but we'll come back and see how it looks on its own packed with a second coat. But as you can see, that's pretty dense in there. So I'm not sure how well you'd be able to see the colors underneath it. Alright, so next up we're going to do the Maybelline. That one's Go Current. This one is definitely going to be different than the other three, but I wanted to see this one swatched anyways. Oh, very beautiful color here. Sort of got a metallicness to it. I like that. A little bit of a berry quality to it as well. We'll let that dry and we'll come back with a second coat. The condition of the formula right now is not the best, I will say that. Next is the Sally Hansen in Cardinal. We've got two Sally Hansens in our red comparisons here. Lots of skinny brushes here. Not really a fan. This one is another in sort of the pink based family of reds, which is fine by me. Not a horrible color. Still not my favorite. Like I said, reds aren't necessarily my favorite, but that's a pretty decent color. Next, we're going to do the OPI. This one is Relentless Ruby. See how that compares between our two Sally Hansens. Alright, now here's what I'm talking about. I love the OPI brush. That's much more my speed. Alright. That actually, oddly enough, on this first coat, the OPI is actually looking more pinky. That is not what I would have expected. Comparing this to this, I would have said that this one was pinker, but not so. Alright, last but not least, we've got a Sally Hansen in Class Act. This is another one with a brush that I like better. Not quite as full as the OPI. Oh, interesting. This is almost like a jelly formula. I kind of like it. Okay, and on that first coat, you can definitely see what I was talking about. That last Sally Hansen Class Act is definitely more of like a watermelon toned red. The OPI, by comparison, is a pinky red. And by comparison to that one, the Sally Hansen is more of a true red. Interesting. And like I said, there's not really a comparison between the Maybelline, that is definitely in a different color family. Well, I guess not different color family, but different tone of those reds. So we'll let that one dry and come back to it. Go ahead and do our second coats of everybody on this one. So like I said, this one by Hearts and Glass is one that I'm pretty sure I'm keeping. It's a beautiful color. I wish it had a name, but I don't think I have this color yet in my collection as far as this tone of color, and I'm really liking how that looks. Really beautiful for fall, so we'll be keeping that. Next up, we're going to do a second coat of the teddy bear one. That was Dark Silver. This one is still very much a maybe. I really don't like the brush. Sort of a watery formula, meh in its appearance. I'm just sort of meh about the whole thing. Yeah, meh. It's sort of more of a smoked color instead of a holographic, so that all of those beautiful twinklings that you're seeing make more of a smoked appearance on the nail. So that'll be destashed. Next up, we're going to do a second coat of the Magnetic by China Glaze. Much more of a golden on the nail than it is in the bottle. Interesting, okay. So that is an intriguing color. I don't know if I'll be keeping that yet. What's keeping me interested is it does sort of remind me of like a tortoiseshell mani, which I think was a bit popular trying to create, what was it, earlier this year, or maybe it was last year. So that part of it intrigues me. I just don't know that I would actually use it. So we're getting rid of it. Made the call. We're getting rid of it. But isn't that interesting how different that looked in the bottle, unmagnetized? Alright, so that's getting destashed. We're going to try a second coat of our little teeny tiny Sally girl. So cute. Just adorable. Yeah, this one definitely needs a thinner to help make it pliable. Otherwise it's very tedious work. I'm gonna get a tiny bit on the brush at a time, on the tiny little brush. But that is a gorgeous color. That is so beautiful. Let's sigh. Do I keep, do I not? That's a really pretty color, and I don't think I have anything else quite like this in my collection. So we'll pull it out this fall. I am going to be pulling together my fall nail polish rack here in a few weeks. So I'll pull this one out, maybe try to thin it down, and we'll give it a shot. That is a really beautiful color. All right, it's a piece of cake. We'll go in for coat number 2. And brush wise, they have a really good brush too, just since we're talking about brushes. That is a really lovely color. Now you can definitely tell the difference between this one from Spa Ritual. The one from Nailed It has a lot more going on as far as shimmer and glitter. It is a beautiful color. And you know what? As similar as I thought it looked like to Spa Ritual, it is different. And I don't think I have a dupe in my collection, so I'll keep that. All right, on to a second coat of MAC. Yeah, that did darken up a bit, but not as much as I thought it would have, interestingly enough. But you can see a little bit more of the brown in it. So it's a beautiful color. I'm just not sold on the formula, actually. It's a little bit getting gloopy. And I want to say it almost needs a third coat. You can see a little bit of unevenness in that second coat. Now again, granted, it could be my sloppy swatching, but I don't know. I think I have better burgundies. So we're getting rid of that. Bye bye MAC. The Emily Damali. So that is our second coat. Sort of a toasted brown color. It is pretty. I don't know that I love it against my skin tone though. I don't know that it's dark enough or different enough. I mean, it is darker than my skin tone, but I don't know. I just don't know. However, you know what? How would it look as a topper? You know I love me some toppers. How would it look over this one here? Again, this one of them is Rage, one of them is not. Let's see how it looks too. Wow. Okay now. Is that actually much different? I mean, it kind of isn't, but it kind of is. It makes it opaque, putting it over that color, obviously. With the two coats on its own, it's more of a linear holographic, but it is still a bit on the translucent side, so it could stand to have a third coat. Whereas over this color, which was metallic, that is a very pretty color. All right, let's try it over this orange from Orly. That was Bird of Paradise. Obviously this is going to deepen it up. But what color are we looking at here? This is beautiful. Wow. Look at that. Well, that certainly makes an intriguing and unique color. I don't have anything like that in my collection. Sort of a burnt, rusty red. Interesting. Okay, well, don't have to tell me twice. It's an Emily Damali. You know, I love my Emily Damalis, and it looks beautiful on its own, but I'm not sold on it for me wearing it on its own. But as a tinted holographic topper over darker colors, yes please, that I think is going to look amazing in the fall. So we're keeping it. So I went ahead and did a second coat and realized that I wasn't filming when I went to do that second coat. So this is the second coat, and it's still sticking very firm in the neutral nude category. Very flesh toned in my opinion. Not very camel-y. I was really expecting it to be somewhat more tan leaning, a bit more sand colored. More camel colored. This is very much Barbie skin to me, which is kind of a strange color for something called camel. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I have this, which is by Cupcake Polish. This is their blurring base coat. And this basically does essentially the same thing with maybe a little less pink. Yeah. So maybe we'll keep that for that reason. I don't see myself pulling this out as a color for itself, but as an undie to other colors, especially sheerer polishes, I could see myself using that. So we'll go ahead and keep that. All right, on to Revlon's Deep Bronze. This is one that so far I was not as impressed with as I was hoping I would be. I mean, it does have more in it than your standard cream polish, obviously. I don't know. I mean, it is a pretty color. I'm not excited about it. It's one of those colors that I'm sure it would look amazing on some people. It might even look good on me. I'm not too fascinated with how it turned out on the nail. In the bottle, I was excited more because I was seeing a bit of purple in it, but once it's on the nail, I don't really see much of a purple tinge at all. And while it's a gorgeous color, I just don't know that I'd reach for it. So that'll go in the Destash. Making excellent progress, by the way. Keep saying that, I know. All right, let's go ahead and see how Stone looks. This one so far I am liking. Although the smell, you guys, the smell. Yeah, you guys, the smell is horrible. Ugh, I can't do it. I cannot do it. Oh my god. No, that smells like burnt. I don't know what that is. I know nail polish doesn't smell good, but you guys, that doesn't smell good. But look at this color. It's this beautiful sable color, like mink sable. It's really lovely. I can't do the smell though. That is horrendous. Horrendous. That's going bye-bye. I do not even want that anywhere. That's, ugh. No thank you. Okay, that was the last one on that color wheel. Now we're on to our alter ego and our red comparisons. So let's go ahead and see how the second coat of Swashbuckler looks. I want to see how it builds up on its own. Looks like it would probably need 3 coats unless you were to put this over like a dark color. It's not my favorite though. It is a little bit brassy. I don't know, you guys. This one might be getting the axe. Let's try it over another color just to see. What was this? Wow, as I throw things around. What was this? What was that? I like it. What was it? Oh, I don't know what that one was. But I think we're gonna do this over... Nope, I changed my mind. We're gonna do it over one of these colors. Because chances are I would be wearing this with fall colors and maybe String of Hearts. Let's see how it looks over String of Hearts. It might be an interesting combination. Might fail miserably, but it could look cool. We'll see. That's what we're here to find out. Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah. It's, it definitely transforms it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not convinced. Well, we gave it a go. But I think alter ego Swashbuckler is going in the Destash. It is a beautiful color. I just... a little too brassy. I like the oranges and some soft golds, but that's a little... we're just not, we're not feeling it. Okay, on to the second coat of Maybelline. This one was Go Current. This is a beautiful color, but I will say so far the formula is a little clumpy right now, but you know, older polish that it is. Guess that's not too surprising. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that that is worth trying to wrestle with the clumpy formula. It is a gorgeous color. I just don't think that it is so unique that I couldn't find that elsewhere if I so desired. So that's getting the boot. No more of that. All right, on to our red comparisons. The first one is Sally Hansen Cardinal. Let's do a second coat of that. This one is surprising me at how much redder it was on the swatch nail. Still not loving the brush on this bottle here for as the Hard as Nails collection or line. But it is a beautiful red, very deep, sort of a classic red. I was saying I would have expected this tone to come out of the OPI bottle that we're comparing. To me, this is a little bit orange leaning by comparison, just by comparison to the other two that we're swatching today. So next we're going to do the OPI, and this is the one, like I said, is a bit more on the orange side in the bottle. Let's see how this one swatches. Almost got mixed up there. All right, so now we're building up on the color. And there you go. Now it's looking a lot closer to that Sally Hansen. Actually, very similar. Very, very similar. To my eye, to my untrained eye for reds, that seems extremely, extremely similar. All right, then to our Sally Hansen. This one's got to look different, right? This one was our sort of a watermelon red. This one has more of the brush that I can appreciate. And a jelly formula. A little bit squishy, a little bit pinky. I like it. I like it. Yeah, so there we have the comparisons of all three of our bright reds. That one was Sally Hansen in the Hard as Nails line. That was Cardinal. This one was OPI's Relentless Ruby. And I guess I can see a bit of a difference, but I mean, they're close. They're very close. And then this last one is Sally Hansen in the Mega Strength line, and that was Class Act. So I'm already keeping one red. That was Forever Yummy by Essie. I don't think I would use the Sally Hansen Hard as Nails Cardinal. While it's a fine color, as I've mentioned before, I don't wear reds often enough to have multiples of very similar colors. And this one, I don't like the brush. I really don't like the brush. So Cardinal goes bye-bye. OPI, again, it's incredibly similar to this one here by Sally Hansen. I don't know that I would reach for it, so that one's getting the boot. The last one that I'll be keeping is this one by Sally Hansen. So this was Class Act, and I like its strawberry pink tint to it. I think that that's really cute, and I like the jelly formula, and I like the brush. So wins all around for that bottle. So 2 more polishes, getting the axe. So there we have it. These are my keeps from part number 2, and we are getting rid of 25 polishes. Roughly 40 polishes. 40 or 41 polishes is what we're keeping. 24 is what we're getting rid of. Not bad. That's not bad. I don't know what the percentage of that would be necessarily, but I think that's pretty good, especially considering in video number 1, I got rid of 4. 4! That's dismal. That's horrible. So there you have it. That was part number 2 of my Destash. Let me know down below what polishes you might have gotten rid of, or if you know of any dupes for any of the polishes here that I did keep. Let me know if I got rid of any polishes that you would have kept. Make sure to hit that little subscribe button down below. That way you don't miss out on any of my videos, and keep your eyes open for part 3 because I will be keeping this up. I have trays of nail polish to go through as well as drawers. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in that next video.